Garth, otherwise known as Big G.
My name is Richie Blackford.
Mrs. Griffiths would have been very proud of her daughter, Marcia, even though she reluctantly allowed her into the music business. Marcia went.
Yeah. What we need to do is to recognize that if we put investment in, we are revitalizing communities. How we deal with small man, and so the sound system start to come up. The sound system was the small man entertainment. And
Inimitable. Toots. Mr. Frederick Hibbert himself. And the Maytals.
This was a big song, God. Big song for many small. In fact, Prince Buster had his imprint all over it. You know?
Sundays come here.
Yes. It's another Sunday. Yeah.
I tell you.
Boy, Richie.
COVID.
We're away, but we're making it.
We're doing it.
15 weeks gone.
This is our 15th week.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it is Sunday.
It's Sunday Scoops. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to another Sunday Scoops on a Sunday afternoon in rainy South Florida. Again, as you saw from the Memorial Weekend, as you saw from the promo, my name is Garth, otherwise known as Big G.
And I'll be your host, Richard Blackford.
Now, brethren,
We have
lined up for our
listeners and
watchers today, the enigmatic and mercurial, the man who
influence
another producer to call himself the Mad Professor, after himself, the Mad Scientist, Lee,
Scratch Perry.
or as his government name is, Rainford Lee Perry.
Rainford Lee Perry, man from Hanover.
Yes, the villain
That is from Kendall.
I don't know if when you were going to school you read
The Kendall Crash.
the book by C. Everett Palmer called A Cow Called Boy, which was set in the Green Island in Hanover, which was just a few miles up the road from Kendall. And there's two Kendalls in Jamaica. One is in Manchester and one is in Hanover.
And the one in Manchester was famous for something else.
The train crash,
But this
back in the 1950s.
is famous for having produced the enigmatic, the mercurial Lee Scratch Rainford Perry. Now listen, if ever a man has impacted Jamaican music, Scratch Perry has been that man. Born 1948.
1948 and 1936.
1936.
1936.
Yeah.
Which makes him 84 years old this year. Still
And the man
behaving like he's 18.
Still producing music. Now, came into Kingston and decided that the music thing was what he wanted to do. And he apprenticed himself to the erstwhile Mr. Clement Surcox's dad. But Scratch at the time was just like a box man. Set up the sound, make sure so the place in order. Over time, got a little bit more involved with the music that Coxon would have been turning up. And he also fancied himself as a singer.
Yep.
In fact, Scratch has more than 50 sides, vocal sides to his credit.
Yes, as a matter of fact, he has 73 albums. And of the 73, I think 6 of them are
His
compilations. He has his own records too. But overall, he has 73 albums that is produced by him. Some of them he has.
Absolutely. Well, just to give you an idea of how Scratch got started. Let's give the listeners a little taste of what would have been one of Scratch's early piece of music. And we walk the story behind. Run for cover.
Run for cover. I'm taking over. Step aside, because I ain't not a simple type. Boy, I'm going on from dusk till dawn, with a right to the head and a left. Boy, I'm going to knock you down with a right to the head and a left to the cheek. I'm gonna keep on.
No, if you listen to the lyrics, the boxing, a left to the head and a right to the cheek, you kind of get a sense that he was targeting somebody in his lyrics. In fact, most of Scratch Perry's songs have some conceit within it. And he was giving some serious thoughts about leaving Carson, because he and Carson ultimately couldn't get along. There's a saying that genius and madness travel along the same path. More often than not, the shadows are intertwined.
That is what you would call blurred lines.
Absolutely. Because Scratch, there was very little distinction between Scratch's conscious side and his unconscious side. But, the experts claim that is where the genius, somewhere in between, is where the genius lies. But this was Scratch testing his hand, testing the waters, if you will, with this early rocksteady piece. Shortly after that, he and Coxon parted company for the same typical reasons. Coxon don't pay properly, and he considered that Coxon was an exploiter.
Right.
And so he figured, he had a fair amount of music in him. In fact, Coxon recorded about 30 songs that Scratch did, but Scratch really not getting the money for it. And so he figured it was time to find something else to do.
And I get the feeling that Scratch, like the genius he was also, and probably suffered from OCD. Done, and if him can get the
monetary
reward, then he wants to get the creative. Coxon's are the kind of person who's going to give up that
kind. He ain't gonna release not like that. And you're right. He felt that he wasn't being treated fairly, and he also, in spite of the fact that he never had any significant formal training, he understood the business side of music, and so he wanted to have that ownership. Wasn't gonna happen, so he walked away, and he connected right after that with Joe Gibbs, and he worked with Joe Gibbs, pretty much doing the same things that he was doing at Coxon. Eventually, had gotten into the A&R side of the business. He would go find artists and so on, and the Gibbs gave him an opportunity as well to test his own production.
Right.
And so they did a fair amount of work. In fact, with Gibbs, he identified Junibiles. There was a group Junibiles had here. I can't remember the name of the group now. But through scratch, Gibbs did a couple of recordings with that group. Not eternal. I'll remember that in a bit. But again, he and Gibbs started to have issues.
Yeah, especially on the creative side.
Right. Because he wants recognition for his output. And Gibbs, at the time, wasn't prepared to provide him with that kind of opportunity. And so by 1968, his relationship with Gibbs had come to an end. And in fact, he had produced another song with the Pioneers, Long Shot, right? Earlier, they had done Long Shot, Kick the Bucket. But he did Long Shot, Kick the Bucket was done by Pioneers with the Kong brothers.
Right.
But the introduction of the Pioneers to the business was through scratch. And they did this song about this racers that could do everything else but win a race, right? We should get the listeners a taste of the Pioneers' Long Shot. All of you do this, you know, every time I hear this song, it take you back.
Takes them back
way back. Because the things we used to do on a Saturday is listen to racing broadcasts on RJR and JBC and from Cayman and Spark. And you used to have, who was the DJ? Can't remember who was the racers commentator. But I remember Kenneth Mattis. Kenneth Mattis was the jockey he was talking about. It was a Mattis Licky, but it would must be. You also remember a lot of man was the gate on Friday evening.
That goes into that's one of the pastimes or the vices of the average Jamaican.
It was a major
apart from the Cronin. Yeah. There was a race up.
And then you stop at the rum bar.
Yes, and drop and pick up all.
There you go. So this song really take you all the way back because if you come out of that era, you can just visualize the man them who can't get to go on the track.
Especially the opening salvo, the horns. Yes. And you know, that is one of the hallmarks of Scratch Perry in the use of external sounds to evoke that emotion. One of the other songs that we're going to be distributing with the sound of the baby crying, you know, that is something that he has, you know, that's one of his trademarks.
Well, since you have gone there, you jumped there, and this no is after the success of Pioneers with this song. Again, Scratch is a man who's serious about his money and his effort, and he feel that the song did well. information, the song sold well over 30,000 copies. And
30,000 copies
in
back in the
Jamaica
day,
at
at the
that
time, was a lot.
holy. And he figured not getting enough money at the time.
And he always
Wanted to be his own man because he was doing his own
production.
I wonder what the price of a record was in 1968.
106.
1 shilling 6 pence.
Yeah, 1 shilling.
$1.06.
Something like that.
At it that way, it would be
1 and
equivalent
6.
of
$1.05.
All right. Yeah. So therefore, if you have 30,000, that's 15,000 pounds.
What? 30,000 copies.
30,000 copies.
That's almost 35,000 pounds. $35,000.
Yeah,
Could I buy
which would be 17,500 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could have bought at least 3 houses with that kind of money. And so he walked away from Joe Gibbs. But not before him drop a tune where that was throwing. Well, even before we touch that tune, because when he went to Joe Gibbs and they started doing everything together, he released another tune called I Am the Upsetter. And that tune is a very significant tune in terms of him throwing down the gauntlet to what would have been the big at the time,
which was Duke Reid,
Coxsone, and Prince Buster. So I'm the Upsetter was a song saying,
I am the new kid on the block.
I am coming here to shake up this thing. Give a listen.
Everything you want for yourself, and you think of no one else. Why you so red-eyed? Why can't you satisfy?
This particular record, he was, as it were, he was a Jamaican. I'm not sure what after Coxsone at the time. So Coxsone would think to himself, in gravalicious.
Yes.
Gravalicious is a Jamaican term where you're craving.
Yes.
Right? And so this was him saying to Coxsone, but it was a message that equally applied to Joe Gibbs.
And also to Prince Buster.
And in fact, when it basically said, I have come to take over this thing. So it was a man saying to the world, I am not shy. Right? I know my word, I know my skills, and I am not going to take no for an answer. In other words, you're going to have to make space to accommodate me. Right? And when I don't do that, I am going to take my space myself. So
which pretty much Prince Buster did to Coxsone.
he did that without question. And as the program unfolds, we will see a lot more of that. So fast forward, he's in this position with Coxsone, and he finds himself in a similar situation with Joe Gibbs. And at this point, it tells him, I need to go do my own thing. And so he decided to step out and do his own independent production. And out of that came this record, People Funny Boy. And
why be top and you turn big shot. All I've done for you, you don't remember that. When you were down and out, I used to help you out. But now that you win jackpot, you don't remember that. Now that you turn big shot, boy, you have big chat. You're lucky to have rice and peas a yard. But me, poor me, don't have none at all. I want.
I'll put up the little
That's
selector.
selector.
I'll put.
And it's the same melody as Long Shot Kick the Bucket.
Well, there you go. What he was doing at this point is literally taking
A tracing thing.
after Joe Gibbs. In fact, Joe Gibbs responded, and he put out, well, I think 2 records. One was a direct response, and then there was a second record which was a subsidiary response. The problem though is People Funny Boy became a monster hit.
And that put Lee Scratch Perry in the eyes of everybody.
The record sold 60,000 copies. And if you can, for a man who is a non-entity, just come and take this thing, 60,000 copies, you have to start to pay attention to it. And at this point, Scratch has now sent a big signal to the marketplace that he's here. And to the point where when Gibbs tried to answer him, Gibbs' little thing was a chop and response. It basically not going away.
Chop and say,
Yeah. You're right, because chop ants are good money. But the response didn't go anywhere. And as a consequence, he now got himself in the mainstream of the recording. And this is where Scratch Perry made his own. You talk about the use of these songs and things, the Crying Baby. Expand on that.
yes. But to do with that, he built his own studio. He got together everything because he was electronic genius. So he taught himself board, and psychedelics. He was, he pretty much, he never got education, but he had, and that's a good thing for a lot of different people.
That was strong. His strong suit. But we want to now look at how he took this, because now that he made the decision to step out, he, at the time, he never had a studio. He was working through a number of other people. He was doing a lot of his recording at Randy's Records. And he was good at identifying talent. And so people who recognize that, hey, if Coxsone treat you so bad, and remember, everybody went to Coxsone and eventually made a beeline away from Coxsone. Prince Buster, who had taken a similar position, most of the artists were now finding that Buster was basically doing the same thing what Coxsone was doing. And so what he did is he created a steel for a lot of these unhoused artists. And this is now where he would now begin to show his class. By 1972, he had created a band that he was working with. In fact, this band was actually the Hippie Boys, a group of musicians that basically came through the same route that the Scatolites would have come through. Alpha Boys School, some of them would have been playing with the Headley Jones, big band. And they basically branched off. Hippie Boys used to do some recording with Duke Reed. And because the music thing was opening up now, most of them decided that we don't want to be tied down.
Looking at greener pastures and more unfettered creativity.
Where the creativity, they were able to explore that. And so they went with him and they created the
group called the Upsetters.
Well, he actually called himself the Upsetter.
Yeah, this is a man who also have different names.
Yeah, talk about names. Because here's a man, the man had about 20 different names in it. And a big part of that.
Before we go any further, Richie, sorry to interrupt your train of thought there. Let us shout out some of our fans who are listening. Yeah, we normally greet everybody. And you know, me, brethren, this year take no prisoners. The family of Bobby Digital, Mr. Robert Dixon. Our condolences goes out to you and the family of Bunji Garland in Trinidad. If you're listening, our condolences go out to you too. Everton Harris, DJ Everton Smith, Isabel James, Miss Williams, Jennifer, Holland Tony, respect my brother. Audrey from my little district up there in Coleyville, Manchester. Heal up my brethren Jacob Brown every week. Jackson, respect my brother for coming every week over there in Saudi Arabia. Thank you for making the time. I know you're a couple hours well ahead of we. So you're early hours of the morning, it's like 12 hours I think. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning where you are. So give thanks for that.
That is a man loyal to Sunday Scoops and
loyal
to brethren.
Yeah. Jelly and Kismet. Yeah, my respect.
Yeah, I will just say to my fan base, thank you. Welcome. And again, thanks for making to spend some time with us here at Sunday Scoops.
And also, our listeners on Mixlr.com, Old School Rules. Thank you so much for the promotion. Thank you for the extra special effort you guys make in promoting for us every week. Also, special shout out to Dimitri, all the way from Paris. Respect my G. Carl Hitman Marshall, Migraine, and also our production team, DMR, Magic and Judy, and Ken.
Well, you have anybody else here on the show?
Oh God, I mean, no.
Yeah, we have to big up. I had a nice conversation with Migraine
in the middle of last week there. The Mixlr group.
Old school radio. Old school rules
guys. Good bunch of guys. Really a pleasure working with them. When you have people that kind of loyalty and commitment, it quicken your steps, if you will. You want to make sure that you run and even take a show. But let's go back to the music because we really want to explore.
Yes. So you were talking about him working with the Upsetters now and working with some other artists into production. And one of the things that Scratch inherited when those guys were stranded in England and they made a promise to Chris Blackwell and they came back home. He inherited.
Don't touch it.
All right. Sorry.
You're unformed, God, as usual. That's working, because you can just introduce a thought and you carry everything. But before we get to there, Scratch had been making some inroads. We want to touch on some artists that a lot of people may not have even heard of. There is first of all, let's look at some of the work he did with there's a tune called Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
Right? And Upsetter is Scratch.
But like
Bob Marley and Will. Anybody who band Bob Marley awareness. So whoever lined up with Scratch in the studio is the upsetter. Let's listen.
And you know who was also Dagger? Tommy McCook.
Greetings, music lover. He is the power. He right forward and the hour. Music like shower.
Local.
This is a big tune, you know. Because by this time, the dub thing had been more or less taking center stage. It's early 70s. And Scratch is demonstrating his mixing skills. In fact, he had heard Tubby's.
And that is where the dub influence comes from.
And Tubby's influenced the thing. And he recognized too that you can do more with the music. In fact, every time Scratch cut a record, he do a dub thing with the record as well. And what he did is extended the life of the music. But the King Tubby's exposure opened him up. And he decided that this was the direction that he was going to go. You can't just play a little half inch of that music, and I have to give it a little more. Now, using that same dub influence, he introduced this group into the studio, a group named the Gatherers. And you get a sense from the Cloak and Dagger in terms of Scratch's mixing capabilities and the way he was kind of directing the music, the direction he was going. And so artists hear the song, because the song was kind of different.
Yeah, another distinct song.
Right. And so people were curious and they came. Let's give a listen to Words of My Mouth by the Gatherers.
I met
if you listen close to this tune, you will know this tune was originally an Augustus Pablo tune. And what Scratch did, keep in mind that he did do a fair amount of work with Augustus Pablo,
yeah.
but he took away Pablo's melodic and replaced it with
the
vocals by the Gambins.
Melody.
And so what you do is he created an entirely different song, and then he took afterwards and made another song which we won't get into, called
Words of Wisdom,
if I remember correctly. But that kind of demonstrated the versatility that Scratch Perry was bringing to this music business, and so which lead us now. Here is Perry establishing himself. The Wailers got stranded, as I said, back in the UK after the tour they went on with John broke up. And so they borrowed some money from Chris Blackwell, just transport them back home and them instruments and so, with a promise that they would put some music together. But before they had gone to England, they had done an earlier piece of work with Scratch Perry, which kind of demonstrated to them
the direction they wanted to go.
Exactly. Music called Mr. Brown. And
I remember that song. The first I was very afraid.
that song introduced another man into the music business, a man named Glenn Adams, that organ.
And the headtones.
You know your music, man.
We are trying. We are trying.
You're not trying. You've demonstrated that capability multiple times over. But this song was a groundbreaking song. Let's give it a listen.
Now, when this song came out, we literally thought, I mean, it is based on the fact that there was this three-wheel coffin being driven around Kingston and Jamaica with crows or vultures on top of this coffin.
Yeah, we call the thing right. Them on Jamaica, we call it Jankro.
Well, the thing is, we realize we have an international audience sometimes, so we have to put it to context for them, you know. Yeah, Jankros are vultures, but that evoked fear in lots of young Jamaicans at the time. Nobody wants to see this. Yeah, I didn't even want to see it.
Especially when you were on the street and a man said, three-wheel coffin.
Yeah,
everybody disappeared. Because the rumor was that if you point on the coffin.
Yes. Right? And there's a taboo in Jamaica where that pointing is concerned. However, I must point out though, we did last week and the previous weeks, is how in touch Jamaica was with pop culture. Because the use of the sounds or the horror sounds in the song shows the influence again in Jamaica and American pop culture, the development. Their sound effect you also use in this song, and that is restraining, you know, employing the same.
Well,
Mr. Brown was released in 1970,
and it was essentially the first time that Perry was producing a Wailers tune. The song also introduced the Barrett brothers, to the business.
Yes. Aston family man.
Aston family man,
Carlton.
and his brother Carlton. But family man played the bass, and the song also, as I mentioned earlier, introduced Glenn Adams, who was the organist.
Yes.
And something that most people may not be aware of, that jolty sound in the organ was actually caused by a flaw in the organ. And so what Adams was doing is trying to overcompensate for the flaw in the organ. And the song itself, because of that, and that little lilt in the music, introduced what we call the jump skank, right? Because the term they use is that Adams used to flap him hand over the keyboard to try to maintain the balance. And I'm saying flap him hand like a jump rope. Right?
I'll give the listeners a little bit more on this. Mr. Brown.
Yeah, you have to give the listeners.
Nothing weird here is 3 rows on top and oh, what a confusion. Ooh, yeah. Adoration. Ooh, now. Ooh, I wanna know now. He is nowhere to be found. From Vanderbilt to Sliderville, coughing, running around, upsetting, scared for Mr. Brown. From Vanderbilt to Sliderville.
Now, the song has a feel and melody.
Don't become Kara.
Yes. Yes, my friend.
And I think we should just give the listeners a taste of Duffy Conqueror. And then we want to segue into some other work that Scratchberry would have been experimenting with at around the same time. Give a listen, Duffy Conqueror. Again, this is the previewing of the Wailers as a big band, not just as the Wailers, the Wailing Wailers singing group. Wailers now as a band, because and that owed itself to Scratchberry.
And if you listen to the harmonies, it sounds like wailing.
Yes, me friend, them set me free again. Yes, me friend, me dip on the street again. The boss could not hold me, force could not control me now. They try to keep me down.
Have to make this one, because yes, my friend, we're up on the street again. Something that a lot of people may not be aware. In this same period, 1967, 67, Marley had Coxsone and is literally trying to find his way. By 67, 68, the group had now become but Bonnie Wailer, Police Lock Him Up. So this song is really influenced by Bonnie Wailer's arrest, right? Bonnie Wailer spent almost a year in jail, and they came out in 1968, and that was when they put the lyrics and the song together. Bonnie Wailer missed quite a few recording sessions with the group because of the arrest, and so this was a celebration of him.
Yes, my friend. So yeah, street again.
Yes, my friend.
The Virgin Andrew down there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Respect, sir.
Also, wanna big up my little group. I wanna big up Beverly Singh, always with us. As Beverly said, she was around in 1960 when the deputy with
Mr. Brown.
right? Wanna big up my friend Farmer George, and also wanna big up Derek Dodd as well. It's Sunday.
And it's Sunday, Sunday Scoops.
To Sundays.
And again, as we always say, if you want to, just listen to the music. And a quick little segue. If I knew, but if I never knew how important on the map, on the floating around in the Milky Way, I can tell you this. After that clash with Bounty and Beenie Man last night, left no question in my mind. The who's who of American entertainment, from DJ Khaled to Rihanna to P. Diddy, last night. So, Respect versus Stevie Swiss Beats. Yeah, good job.
Yes. Well, listen, when you put something together that have that kind of
Bounty,
global
superstars.
Also remember, this two of them there was a time in their career where they were
No, but as Bounty said last night, and said, when they're on stage, we are war, but in a real. Alright, let's get back. See it? No, Bunny will have power with them bridging them dep on street again. The bars could not hold me, neither control me now.
Now, something that figured in Jamaica's culture during this late 1960s to mid 1970s period was cowboy movie.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And our boy Scratch.
Pop culture.
Was a big pop culture.
Big movie buff. Yeah, man. Big movie buff.
Huge movie buff. In fact, I remember when Franco Django movie hit the cinemas, 1970 actually. The movie was released 69, but it came to Jamaica 1970. And I saw it at React, open-air theater. Well, Scratch Perry immortalized that movie in song, right? In fact, there were a series of these Django-themed music, spaghetti western, and he put this together, The Return of Django. Give a listen. You can almost hear the horse gallop in the song, right?
Yeah.
If you listen to all the quick steps beat of the song and the genius of Scratch Perry. Continue, Mr. Select. Hold up. You hear that on the drums. You hear that the tip tap beat.
Yes.
That is again Scratch's genius. And remember, Scratch is working very basic,
rudimentary
equipment, if you will. Scratch
salvaged all over the place.
A lot of, for example, he would line up like a dozen bottles and have them filled with water at different levels. And he tap along the bottles and record the song. And then he incorporate that in his music. All these rudimentary approaches to use a $50 word. And this is the kind of ingenuity that attracted a lot of the younger core of musicians who wanted to be part of Scratch's experience. And at the time, he paid them. Right? He, unlike some of the other people, he was paying his artists. Now, you also, Dave Barker and Ansel Collins would have been around this same time. Yeah. That song also became I think they sampled that song and played as Liquidator, right? Yes. But Dave Barker also did another piece of work with Scratch. Revisiting or visiting the catalog of James Brown, Prisoner of Love. And you wanna give a listen to Dave Barker from the duo Dave and Ansel Collins. Something a little bit different, but here comes Prisoner of Love.
Baby, baby, yeah. Alright. You may be a prisoner of your love. You try to conquer me, baby, and take me as a turtle dove. But every time that I look at your beautiful face, I just can't help it, baby, I'm in place. Love you, baby, just can't help me. You made me a prisoner. Oh, yeah. You made me a prisoner. Then you made me love you. Oh, you don't know how I feel, baby. No, my heart is, yeah. Oh, yeah. I just can't heal myself, baby. Just can't heal on.
So I big up my brethren all the way from London, England. Clive Cunningham. Also want to big up Jennifer Grun, Michael Dean, who is all the way in Canada, who was joining the broadcast. Again, if it is Sunday, it is Sunday Scoops. Now, we want to just revisit the Cowboy team. Because again, Scratch is a big cowboy movie man. For a few dollars more. Another sampling of the Sergio Leone Corbucci spaghetti westerns. Here is For a Few Dollars More.
And the Return of Django series. Also another song called Clint Eastwood. Who was in that Fistful of Dollars series. Yes. You know.
$2 more, you'll be laughing.
This is Scratch Berry in his creative element. But again, just big up Nicky Carroll, my friend Anif Budai, the maths brains from the 13th Street. Good job, you guys. If it's Sunday, it is Sunday Schools.
And we have to touch a Clint Eastwood. Out of the way. But this is Clint Lee, Scratch Perry and the Upsetters.
Clint Eastwood for leave and click.
And you know what it is with Scratch? Is he revisits the same sounds, because this actually reminds me of this toaster at the time. They didn't call themselves DJ, they were toasters or MCs. And the Cap, a song named
Papa Tops.
Papa Top.
Papa Tops, Super Sit. Listen, again, just want to recognize a couple of people. Richie Clark, Richie Clark is one of the few man that me will leave my
yeah, man, I always look for when it comes to the garden.
Right? And when a man like Richie Clark can join our broadcast, you know that we must be doing something.
Yes, big up my G.
Big up Bobby Winter and Paul Toller, and of course all the listeners everywhere.
Yeah,
this Sunday you're listening to watching Sunday Schools.
And also big up the listeners on Old School Rules, Mixelar, yes, the Migraine, Hitman, and all the other DJs over there.
Focus now, God. And for me, the most important part of the catalog of Marley and the Wailers, or the Wailers, because at the time these guys were Marley and the Wailers. It was the Wailers, and we gave a taste of Mr. Brown, Duppy Conqueror, but there was a feel of music that Scratch influenced. Scratch had a particular sound, and this was the sound that, for me, and the best part of the Wailers catalog. For example, a tune that has been sampled over and over again is Dreamland. But when you listen to the Wailers version of Dreamland, it's not Bob Marley that's leading, right? It's Tosh who's leading. And then you hear Bonnie Wailers, the distinctive Bonnie Wailers one. Let's give a listen. Dreamland.
Just got a text message from my brother Manchester saying that at the time in Jamaica's broadcasting didn't give the music the justice.
Because these music couldn't play on radio. If you remember, well, I come from that time. A lot of this music you can't hear this on the radio.
It was never played. Not that it never played.
The radio station was looking in a different direction. But let's give a listen. Dreamland, by the way.
There's a land that I have heard about so far across the sea. Land that I have heard about so far across the sea. To have you on my dream would be like heaven to me. Have you on
man, this song is.
And remember, this song has been sampled and resampled over and over
Yeah,
again.
a lot of different artists have covered it. Marcia Griffiths have covered it. Yes.
This, for me, is a foundation. This is the demonstration of the kind of talent that exists at this time. Vocal and otherwise, because Peter Tosh is playing as well as leading with the vocals on this song. I want to give another listen to another tune that came out of the same era. Keep on moving. And this is a song that the Wailers is saying, because during this time, not now go on for them, you know, money not running. They recognize the importance of staying with the program. Give a listen. Keep on moving.
Lord, I gotta keep on moving. Lord, I gotta get on down. Lord, I gotta keep on moving where I can be found. Lord, they're coming after me. I've been accused for the kill. Lord knows I didn't do for hanging me there, yeah, and that's why I gotta get on through. Lord is coming after me.
So this is the 19 early 90s, and a lot of these songs, because at this time Black Ark Studio is not built yet, right? This is
Going into other studios.
that he was going to Randy and so on, WIRL and so on. But a lot of the songs were actually recorded at Buchanan's, most of them. But again, it showed crashes, understand and where the music was. The music is not just changing to reggae, but it also showed a certain amount of roots-ish foundation, which kind of differentiated from a lot of the stuff that was being produced elsewhere. And to a large extent, it underlined some of Marley's frustration, because, you know, I remember coming out of the 1970s, when you go to a party and you play certain Bob Marley tune, man just stand up, because you don't know if you must
Dance to it, I must listen to it.
sit on our meds and things. And Marley couldn't deal with that, because he was looking for some of the thrills that should have been coming out of the music at the time. And he had been in the music for more than 5-6 years by this time. But to my thinking, he was laying down what I call
The foundation.
tracks. Give a listen. Smaller. Again, this is him speaking to his efforts, not realizing the potential that figures that he has. But he still believe in himself. You know, if you're a big tree,
Well,
I'm
you
a
know,
smaller.
those are the foundation and also the tenets of success. We're holding that thought and just working will and just work towards it, and you will experience success. Smart acts.
Here we go. Sunday.
Play it smart. So if you want a tree, you're a small axe ready to cut you down, to cut you down.
Well, sharp to cut you down. I mean, for me, God, this is the heart for me of Marley's music catalog. Another big tune that came out of this period again, Trenchtown Rock. And, you know, he, in the true style that Scratch had, he also did a little piece of this tune with Uri. But let's give a listen to
Trenchtown Rock,
the heart of the 70s. And if it is Sunday, you're in tune to Sunday Scoops, where we roll back the layers to give you the stories behind the music, and where we talk about the only Jamaican music. Sunday Scoops. Trenchtown Rock.
One good thing about music, when it hits you, oh, I say one good thing, when it hits you feel no pain. Hit me with music, yeah. Hit me with music now. This is Trenchtown Rock. Don't watch Trenchtown Rock. Big fish or sprat now. Trenchtown Rock. You reap what Trenchtown Rock. And only Jaja knows. Trenchtown Rock. I'll never turn my back. Trenchtown Rock. I'll give the sun. I'll never let the children cry. Oh, you got to tell Jaja why. It's Kingston 12. It's Kingston 12. It's Kingston 12 now. It's Kingston 12. You come along so. Oh no.
The man I rep.
My auntie used to live around a Trenchtown there. I tell you, on a Saturday evening. This was before the war. Before the war started. And we used to make the journey down. We used to go Jonestown, and then we walk across
down the bottom of Penn Street
and go by the Trenchtown. But again, I think Uri and the Wailers
did a song on this called the Kingston 12 Shuffle.
Kingston 12 Shuffle. Let's give the listeners a taste of that.
One good thing about music, when it hits you, feel no pain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When it hits you, baby, you feel no pain. You got no one to blame. Hit me with music. Whole lot of music, I tell you. Hit me with music. Do it one time. Trenchtown Rock. Keep you walking and swing. Trenchtown Rock. Baby, do your own thing. Trenchtown Rock. You got to live it up until you. Trenchtown Rock. I would never compel you. Trenchtown Rock. Baby, I just got to tell you. Trenchtown Rock. You got to keep on rocking. Trenchtown Rock. Baby, come and put on your stocking. Trenchtown Rock. Will never give it up. Keep on grooving until you. Baby, you gotta keep on grooving. Keep on moving and swing on that.
It's a little taste of Uri, because we're gonna put a program together. We can imagine a program where I have Uri,
Ira, and Prince
Jazzball.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So stay tuned, listeners. Now, wanna show you the versatility of the Wailers in terms of the kind of vocal talent and the depth within this. Listen to Brand New Second Hand. This, more often than not, we associate this song with the Peter Touch.
Yes.
But the song was originally done by the Wailers, and eventually, as most of these guys did, they would revisit some of these songs and put out their own tape. But let's give a listen. Brand New Second Hand, the Wailers.
You're only acting like you are somebody, but I don't know, say, you know nobody. You only a show off your painted face, yeah. But underneath that face, you're just a disgrace. You're just a brand new second hand, yeah. No man, no one, no brand new second hand, yeah. You better go back around, so you're just a brand new second hand, yeah. You're just a brand new second hand. You think it's the dress you wear that make you a lady. Get that out of your mind, yeah. You must be crazy. Mama used to tell me long time.
Yeah.
One of them before you say guys, so I'm big up my friend Neville Williams. Neville is a man who been behind the music, coming from down at St. Andrew. We have some rigorous discussions from time to time on social media. Just want to welcome you to Sunday Schools. You were about to say.
Yeah, there's a part of this song that Tash gave a description, you know. This woman that said, look at your heel back. Look how it's so tough. And your jawbone favor, Spanish town handcuff.
But again, we had said this in a couple of earlier programs that one of the things about reggae music, when we finally took hold of the genre, we were now able to be singing about our own experiences. These guys, this is what it means about owning your music, where you can either poke fun at yourself, you can either use the platform as an avenue for social commentary, whatever it is. And so what you're getting out of catalog of music by these guys, a mixture of the experiences. You can almost tell what's going on in the country at the time. Take a song, Concrete Jungle. 70s, by this time, Rima had been built. Trenchtown people were looking across the street in the mid-1960s when Rima was going up, because they were expecting that they would have been moving into these high-rise, what we call, the high-rise community, and they were expecting this thing. And so when the other side, political side, awarded the homes to their handpicked people from elsewhere and created what became known as this concrete jungle, because that's what the place became.
Yeah, but why was it named Rima?
Rima, it was named Rima because the machines that were used to grade the roads and the heavy equipment, the brand was Rima. And so when the people pass by and you see all these heavy equipment with the thing, and then just name the place after it.
And that, my friends, is how Jamaica is. You just give a thing a name.
Yeah, exactly.
You actually have a town named after heavy equipment.
Yeah, but it's like road. The man in Bill Road and the machine that them use to lay the tar. What do you think the machine name?
Barbara Green.
Barbara Green. So guess what them say? The man in Barbara Green the road. But listen, we are here to talk about music. So let's give a listen to Concrete Jungle. One of the most potent songs to come from the catalog of the Wailers.
And of course, Lee Scratch Perry.
chains around my feet, but I'm not free. Whoa. I know I am bound here in captivity.
This song was kind of a harbinger of what was to come. It was almost a foretelling of the fire that would come in terms of the warfare that erupted between Trenchtown and Rima and things. One of the things they said, we can't do without the politics, but this was a part of the politics that we could have done without. Interestingly, while the Wailers was putting this music together and looking to go forward, what they did not know is that Scratch had taken this catalog of music to the UK, and the Trojan people, I think it was
sold it to them.
He sold it to them, and they had no knowledge that this had happened. And when they eventually found out, they literally just pulled out of the reach of Scratch. And I think immediately after that, they signed Chris Blackwell. And the rest is history. In fact, when this broke out, Scratch was so mad that they had gone and signed with Blackwell that he made a song that he leveled at him, a song called Vampire. Right? And again, here is a man who is noted to use the movie theme, but he saw Blackwell as a blood-sucking, hungry thing. Don't point the finger at himself. He did. In fact, according to the Dog newspaper, the man them wanted to brush away Scratch when this happened. And, luckily, the intervention with... Let's give a listen to The Vampire.
Obidaya, Jaja send us here to catch vampire. Obidaya, Jaja send us here to catch vampire. Let's to light up your fire. When I catch them vampire, I go set them afire. I man trod up down a unity lane, see a dreadlocks running down a Rasta man. Swear that if him catch him, him will kill him down. The dreadlocks couldn't catch the Rasta man. Obidaya.
Now this song was later covered in the corner, that Irish singer. She did a tribute album to what she attributed to her baptism, drum and bass, and the name of the album was Throw Down Your Arms, after Burning Spear himself. Yes.
Who's going to be the subject of one of our soon to come episodes. Now this episode with Scratch and the Wailers and Blackwell was kind of a low point in terms of the direction of the music, because one would not have expected that kind of mistreatment or action from a man like Scratch. But then, as one of my brethren said, Scratch, there was a thin line that separated sanity from madness, and you wonder if it was the madness side of him when he opted and make that kind of decision. The bottom line, though, is that he lost out big time, because even though he would have mended some fence with Blackwell, or eventually, it deprived the opportunity to capitalize on that. Notwithstanding, he did some work with some other artists, a lot of big names that, we want to feature a couple of them. There was a group called the Congos, which Scratch pulled them on his wings. In fact, they put out an album, nice little album. We're gonna feature
Heart of the
Congos. But let's give a listen to Fisherman. And again, if it's Sunday, you know that this is Sunday School. Wanna just express my appreciation or our appreciation to all our viewers and listeners everywhere you are. Join us in the world. Fisherman, the Congos.
Oh, fisherman, row, keep on rowing your boat, brother man, you're row, fisherman, row, lots of hungry belly picking day ashore, millions of them, lots of hungry belly picking day ashore. In a little old seaport town, 3 kids on and another one to come make for. Day by day, I'm on step with along the seashore.
This was a really nice good song. But again,
their most successful album. They had other efforts after that with other producers, but it never lived up to snuff.
Scratch's impact was that significant. No, Scratch was able to, that kind of sound, that harmonizing. In fact, it's important that we tell the listeners that the backup behind the people who are providing the harmonies with some of these songs, particularly the gatherers, the Congos,
and the
Junior Marvin. You know who they picked? The Sensations was part of the backup. The
and Slim Smith was part of that.
With Slim Smith. The Heptones were also part of the backup. And so what you're getting is a kind of harmony that could never be replicated anywhere else as far as the music is concerned. We want to give a listen to Police and Thief, where you're getting the same sound and the sensation coming out of the song.
And this song, the whole gun situation in Jamaica, ramping up as well was released. There were, as a matter of fact, before 1976, Jamaica had 303 rifles. And then after the surplus that came out of the Vietnam War, Jamaica came M16 rifles and the police and also the soldiers. Yes. Junior Marvin.
Police and thieves in the street. Fight up the nation with their guns and ammunition. Police and thieves in the street. Oh yes, scaring the nation with their guns and ammunition. From Genesis generations, yeah. The next generation will be, hear me. All the crimes committed day by day, no one tried to stop it in any way.
Well, it's hard to say that song.
But a song like this was also caught the ears of the British rock group called and they redid it a year later in 1977, and they did a very good job with it too. As a matter of fact, that got a Grammy.
And that album also
gave Junior Murphy
something
that he could
call a pension.
Because the song did that well. Another song that Junior Murphy did. Time for him. Let's move to another man who had his own demons as well, but under the tutelage of Scratch. Now,
we all know Junior Bass fade away,
but Junior Bass was part of a group
that
was singing with Joe Gibbs. And so when they
arrangement between Joe Gibbs and Scratch
broke down.
Scratch teeth the man.
Yeah, Scratch basically teeth him.
But the group didn't come with it. He came down there
as a solo
act. And one of the first tune that he put out there was Beat Down Babylon.
That is a song we used to promote this week. Before we even get into this song, at the time too, there was a big rift between the Jamaican police and Rastaman, and they found the term with which we refer to
Babylon.
Was Babylon. Yeah. So
that Babylon thing.
Now that will put that perspective. It's about Babylon, how the Rastaman really feel.
Before you play this song, because they went back further, went back to 1960. In fact, 1958.
Carl Gardens.
Yeah, well, 63 was a Carl Gardens thing, but it set the stage. And Junior Bass was a big Rastaman. Let's go. Babylon.
Say me no like them kind of Babylon. Say me no dig them kind of wicked men. For I'm a righteous Rastaman. I do one time man. I and I going beat down Babylon. I and I going beat down Babylon. I and I must whip them wicked men. I and I must whip them wicked men. Oh, what a wicked situation. I and I starving. This my pollution under the dangerous pollution. I and I going beat down. I and I must beat down Babylon.
Beat down Babylon. I tell you, if you want to know what's going on in Jamaica, and then the point in time, you really need to listen to the music, because the music contains social kind of telling the story of what's going on the social side in Jamaica. To take this to the other side was when Biles released Curly Locks, which in those early 1970s year, this was an anthem in the party scene, the dance hall. Anyway,
I saw a big song on the show. Too.
Girl, love, know that I'm adrift. Your dad say you shouldn't play with me. It's alright, girl.
All of it. Because something really quite that a lot of this music was coming out in 1973. After 1973, which is when
Scratch
had built the Black Art Studio
in his backyard.
And his time was he was
kind of fed up with
trying to work with other producers, other studios and so on, where he never had enough time to finesse his music. So having established the Black Art Studio, he now had
100%
control.
100% creativity.
Material, the creativity, the amount of time spent.
That is
music. Curly Lock.
Girl, love, know that I'm a dream. Your daddy say you shouldn't play with me. It's alright, love, know that I'm a driller. Your daddy say you shouldn't play. The sun is shining, the breeze is blowing too, and all I've got inside is lots of love for you. It's true, girl, love. Know that I'm a dream.
You can just imagine Scratch sitting on the panel and
finessing
the music. Because this is essentially what gave this music this edge.
You had a sound that nobody else could replicate or duplicate. And a lot of people came to him just because of his sound.
Absolutely. No, he produced a couple of people. There's a song that I love to
share with the listeners.
Somewhere, Never Brand. A tune called Sick and Tired. And again, it just shows the kind of versatility that was coming out of the Black Ark, if you will. Because these are the Black Ark years. And this is Scratch Perry, in my opinion, at his finest. Never Grant, Sick and Tired.
Oh, baby, what you gonna do? Oh, baby, what you gonna do? I'm sick and tired, fooling around with you. Oh, baby, what you gonna do? Oh, baby, what you gonna do? I'm sick and tired with you. I wake up in the morning, look for something to eat. Before I go to work and eat brush your teeth. And come up in the evening, you're still in bed. With a red tie round your head, oh baby.
That rhythm
wasn't original.
The Nancy
Collins utilized that rhythm as well. But again, we just want to give an indication of the kind of versatility that was coming out of the Black Art Studio.
It was an atmosphere,
according to the artists, where each artist was willing to support the other. There was a feeling in the atmosphere that was provided where people had a bigger than just a vocal input in whatever it is that they were saying.
And one of those people was the great Augustus Pablo. did a song called "Vibrate On"
Let it go.
with Lee Scratch Perry.
Vibrate on.
Now looking at Lee Scratch Perry from the production, we did play a couple of his early songs that he sung that I would love the listeners to hear that he did. And when I discovered this song, I was I wouldn't say taken aback, but I was pleasantly surprised. And it is A Rainy Night in Portland, which was taken from A Rainy Night in Georgia. Same melody and everything, but instead of saying Portland, also is from Jamaica, and was a Portland
Rainy Parish.
Rainy Parish.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So Rainy Night in Portland, Lee
Scratch Perry.
doing the vocals and also producing.
Unpack my suitcase, trying to find a warmer place to spend the night. Heavy rain is falling. Seems I hear your voice calling. It's alright. Rainy night in Portland. Rainy night in Portland. Lord, all over the house.
It rain all over the house.
Yeah, well, if I'm not rainy night in Portland, you try to find Bonneville Hotel up on the hill. That's a reasonable place where you can stay. Listen, we want to just say to our viewers and listeners out there, if you have any issues, you can always go to www.yardmedia.com. We are also streaming on our website.
Another website is our website. There's a couple of blogs and also recordings of
a lot of previous
and
episodes.
we also have some merchandise on sale. We're not going to try something in Lions. We'll tell you blatantly that we would love for you to purchase some of our merchandise and help to keep us on the air. Respect for the support.
Want to big up Carl Fritz and Zuka from Camperdown, who man never leave us out. One of us, as we looked at Scratch trying his hand at some singing, Scratch did some work with Max Roman. A couple of big Max Roman tunes, but we gonna just feature two of these songs. One of them is War in a Babylon. I said earlier, when the Wailers were literally providing a precursor to the violence that was going to hit with Concrete Jungle. This is the whole war period coming around in Jamaica in the 1970s. A period that not enough has been said. But let's give a list. Max Roman. War in a Babylon.
War in a Babylon, tribal war in a people out there. Who are you say? It's people out there. Oh yeah. War in a Babylon. The tribal war in a Babylon. It's people out there.
Big up to my virgin, Neville Garrick, for joining us. One of these days I want to give you a phone call.
Extending a full, proper,
Yes.
official invitation.
So, big up yourself, man. For you who don't know, is one where he was a curator for Bob Marley Museum. He was Bob Marley's graphic designer. He designed all the backdrops and also all of the album covers that he worked with Bob for years. And you will see him playing football and everything. So, I expect taking time out of your busy afternoon, giving us a little listen. The other scratch Perry did with Max Romeo's One Step
Forward, Two Step Backward.
Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Na 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 na. Ooh yeah, ooh yeah. Na 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 na. One step forward, two step backward. Down in a Babylon, one step forward, two step backward. Down in a Babylon. One day you are dreadlocks, well dread. Next day you are ballad. Onward, forward, don't step backward. Step out of Babylon, onward, forward, don't step backward. Step out of Babylon.
So the earlier song that he did with Max, I mean, we're not nice. He did that song in 1973.
That was a big.
That was a big. We have to touch it.
Three blind mice to see where they run.
I went to a party last Saturday night. When I reached the party, everything was right. Then Babylon red, them red, them red. Me catch me Fred, me catch me Fred. It was like three blind mice.
Hold on. Because, you know, this is my era, my party era. And I remember going to a dance over the, just on some Goodrich Road in the mountain. And the man them hung up the steel hand in a ackee tree. And when the sun turned on, because of course them throw the wire over the electric wire. And when the sun turned on, the whole of the electricity in the area went up seconds. And you hear that is described in this song took place at that dance.
Babylon Red.
It was when Babylon Raid, we had told policeman them called Armand Barracks, and between them and the Armand Barracks man them turn up at the dance, and them start lining up people in the chain. Rastaman gets some big. Three blinders. This is Scratch Perry. We're featuring the work of the genius, who depending on where you call him, you know, all of you as people who follow this music, Scratch was a genius.
One of the other guys he worked with too was Alka brother, I call him Mr. Festival, Eric Donalds. And he did a song with him, which I mean they sold it to Trojan. They did stand up with him, but a more popular song than stand up that he did was Freedom Street. Now, a couple of artists did Freedom Street, but this is the one that Lee Scratch Perry produced this one.
Put a little cease, Mr. Selector. I want to recognize Dr. Dennis Howard, who is in the house. Dennis, we can't wait to get back to a regular studio location where we have you
yes,
and give us your input. But again, welcome, sir.
No, you mentioned earlier. Sorry. Go ahead. I'll cut you off.
I just want to remind the listeners that if it's Sunday, it is Sunday Scoops. And today we're featuring the genius
of Lee Scratch Perry,
Order of Distinction, Commander Class.
And I think we mentioned it earlier. The man is 84 years old and still performing and still making music. You did mention earlier that the Heptones was a lot of the backing vocals in some of his production, and he did a song with them, which was a cover version of an R&B song called "I Do Love You." And here's the Heptones with "I Do Love
I love you so right now. I'm on my baby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Little darling, I say I love you so right now. Never, never gonna let you go now. Pretty little baby, say I want you to try to understand.
Just wanna say to our listeners that if you're having difficulty, tune into yardmedia.com where there's no interruptions. www.yardmedia.com where you should have no interruptions. One of the features are working through Facebook where we have these periodic interruptions. To the tune, though, this Heptones tune was Barry Llewellyn who was leading on that vocal effort just now. Sills wasn't available with the stuff. But
All right, so the next song I'm Vibrate on, which didn't give good justice, but he production with Pablo in Black Ark. I can't get it any plainer than that because the studio was Black Ark. So in Black Ark, Augustus Pablo though was more known for his, and he's going to be another. I tell you, Mark.
You ready to scratch? Come down, Pablo. Scratch ready. Right. One scratch. You're the best engineer in the business. Tear down Black Ark Studio. Come back, Pablo. Come back, man. Scratch, take him over here. So you're a joke, Pablo. Come down, Pablo, man. Straighten up yourself and fly right. Watch that. Yes, Pablo, yeah, we know. Come on.
Just wanna for those who are familiar with the music, that is
Black Cinderella,
and you would be,
if you know
or follow the music closely, that voice in the
background,
with Bonnie
Lee.
Again, Augustus Pablo did a
huge amount of work
with particularly with
King Tubby
and his brother. His brother, Rockers International, who would
have been
a big part of Augustus Pablo's career.
You know, just as we
getting warmed up,
it is coming to that close, but we still have time for a couple more tunes. One of the other songs that I want to feature is the one the night that they did with Dave Barker and we can't play without playing that song. And there's another tune, my favorite tune about the songs that we played. But let's Shocks of Mighty. Sorry about that. Wrong song.
This is Shocks of Mighty. Hit me back.
No, Scratch, a lot of people don't understand. Scratch is a man that he is very, he now calls Switzerland his home, and he's doing a lot of work. One of the his big influences was a mad professor in Ghana, who had a lot of hits in England. But Scratch is also influencing the dubstep crew. He did with the Clash, not Beastie Boys album in 1998, and the Beastie Boys and you know Scratch benefited from that.
I think we need to make the point, because Scratch was as it was his mercurial self. By 1979, he had gotten to a state again where I think some of his, what should I call it, his mental issues had now started to become more pronounced. There was a point at which every inch of wall at the Black Ark studio, he had all sorts of smiling, and then one, after in a fit of rage, he just burned.
What happened?
Of the man. But as my friend Willie said, this man, you kind of wonder where you place him, because here is a man had his own set of deals when they took over.
Why?
But
yeah, the final is Dr. Lee. It was album featuring Scratch Perry. And Order of Distinction.
In fact, he was accorded the Order of Distinction in 2012. So again,
my device is more clear. clear, more clear. Jungle, jungle, Merlin Production Company, Black Hawk International Branch, present. I've been going around. All you see, Mr. Brown. I've been going around, going around. Have you seen Mr. Brown?
He revisited
Of his works, a lot of his works earlier again producing synth. Thank you so much for tuning in. We've come to the end of another Sunday. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And for those of you who are interested, Old School Rules continues with Marshall from 4 to 7 after that is Migraine. And there. Big up for those who are listening on Old School Rules Radio. And for those of you who join us on Facebook Live, that's on yardmedia.com. Have a good Sunday, and we'll see you again. And visit the website, www.media.com. YAAWDA.com. Again, one love.
Wow, good.